Hey, hey there, it's your girl Barbie J. And guess what I am reviewing today? I am reviewing Tyler Perry's Bruh. You know, the male version of Sisters, Bruh, Bruh. Now, it's into season two already, but I think season two is continuing this week, or is it season three starting? Well, season one had 24 episodes. 24 episodes in a season. And then season two only has 10 so far. So I think it might continue, but it comes out, was it October 21st? So anyway, I was going to give you a quick recap of season one of Bruh. So that's episode 1 through 24. And it's with four friends who are college friends who have, gone on and they're older now, but not that much older, and they are Bill, John, Tom, and Mike. And I get a kick out of the show. I like that it's only 30 minutes, it's not a whole hour. So I could do a quick recap on something like that. And I've been enjoying it, and it's on BET Plus. So before I get started with this show, you know what I'm going to say. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please take a moment right now and subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button right there. Help Barbie J's channel grow, 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 grow. Okay? And shout out to everybody in my comment section and in my all my subscribers who have been holding my channel down. I appreciate you. Please share my videos, help my channel grow. I want to be successful like all these other ones out there, all these other content creators. I love it because I love talking to you guys. So instead of going on with all of this because I'm taking too long, let me give you a quick recap. And I wrote down notes and stuff. I'm not gonna tell you all the episode names, but this show it's just funny. It's almost real life too. It's almost true to life, some of the stuff, but some of it is real silly, like the mother, Miss Alice. Miss Alice is hilarious. But let me see. Let me start with the four friends from college, and I think they're in like their late 20s, early 30s. And John is the only one. He owns a sandwich shop with his mom. Plus, he lives with her. And she is a trip. Miss Alice is all the way a trip. She is funny as ever. And she keeps that show going. And when her and her son, John, go back and forth, I'm just sitting there cracking up because I'm like, this is too much. Because Miss Alice is like a freak of the week. You know, she the freak of the week. She loved talking sex, and she hitting on all of his friends. She would love to be a MILF. You know, she would love to be one. So his mom is uh um she be using the sandwich shop for her dates and stuff. They do so much stuff in the sandwich shop. They had a bridal bachelorette party in there. They coming in the middle of the day to do stuff, and one of them was having sex in there. I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay, that part is not true to life, really, in some places, but it might be, and I just don't know about it. What else? She always cussing her son out, always saying she disappointed, always blocking when some girl might like him or he likes some girl. She calls them names all day long. She always speaking her mind. She don't care. She's like, I'll cuss you out and everything. But sex is her main thing she talks about all the time. And John, he's funny, and he seemed like to be the one to have a little bit of common sense out of the group, even though he's the one, he's not as prosperous as his friends are. You know, he's the least prosperous, let's put it. And he was kicked out of school because he covered for Mike. And when Mike got in trouble for messing with the dean's daughter or something. So he's always asking his boys to borrow money. He always want to get into something alone and, you know, and get a club or something like that. He wants to do more. You know, he wants to be as prosperous as them. But they're getting tired of him asking them for money. So Mike seemed to be the main one getting tired all the time of him asking for money, but he was never told that John had covered for him and what John did for him in college and why John got kicked out. And that I don't understand why it's not clear, because when Tom got frustrated and was going to tell, Bill was telling him, no, 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 like, don't tell. And I'm like, why shouldn't he know what this man did for him and why he got kicked out of school? And I don't understand why, if they were friends back then and so close, how come they didn't tell him back then? But that's this episode. That's this season of what we're learning from the group, the Bros. Mike is the attorney. he basically is a male hoe. He a hell. He a hoe. He sleep with anything in a skirt. He sleeps around with various women, but then has the nerve to get upset when his side chick, she ain't even his chick, his side chick, Pam, is out on a date with another guy, and he goes over there and wants to say something. He did it 2 times in this season. He goes over there and messes with her dates. He threw a drink on one of them. I think he was a famous basketball star, something like that. The other one was a cool dude, and he saw her again with him at a wedding, and he sat in between them at the wedding. That was her plus one for the wedding, and they had decided to. It's just he acts like a child. Okay, he's like a child. So, and in this, I think so he thinks these women belong to him, like he the only one supposed to sleep with him. He's self-absorbed. It's all about him, and Andy from Sisters made a guest appearance on here a few times this season because she's an attorney as well, and they were working together. So that was nice. And guess what, y'all? Andy was dressed appropriately on this episode, on these shows. It wasn't all the cleavage and stuff that she wear in Sisters, I think. But anyway, that was good. What else is going on? Who's next? Tom. Tom is a doctor. Tom is a tall one. He seemed like he's nerdy too. Even though he's a doctor, he seems a little nerdy out of the group. Not that John is not, but John is funny too. Tom is not. He's like, and he's much nicer and more understanding of John's situation than the other two, than Bill and Tom are. Than Bill and Mike are. And so he got tired of hearing the guys saying they don't want to help John and they don't want to do this. And he finally gets mad and tells what John did for Mike. Even that's when I told you Bill was telling him no, like he shouldn't tell and stuff. But I'm glad he said something. So when Mike realized this, he's like, really? For real? He tries to make amends. He goes and helps John get out of this deal with his cousin. His cousin Leon was a drug dealer, and John had borrowed money from him because his bros wouldn't give him money. So he borrowed money from them to open up the club, and they didn't want him to do it. His mama didn't want him to do it. She was so disappointed. She was sick of him. She was done. She couldn't say nothing nice about him. And Tom was the one who was like, y'all, we got to do something. We can't let this happen. So once he told Mike what happened, Mike had a change of heart. He stepped to the drug dealer and was like, he's going to tell I call the IRS and let them know about his drug dealings and money if he don't, make things right. So he did that. But Bill was a little punk ass. But Bill was a punk. He was like, talking like he the tallest one of the group, and was acting like a baby. It was just like, it was so sickening to watch him act that way. Let's see. What else happened? Tom, like I said, Mike made amends and tried to do the right thing. But at that point, John was through with them, didn't want to hear nothing. He's like, whatever. He was pissed and everything. And he told him, get out my club. He was so mad. And when they left, he got mad at himself and started throwing stuff and everything because he was like, why they didn't do this before? He was like, F y'all. He was real pissed. Anyway, but Tom slept with a nurse, his subordinate, and that's not allowed. That he should not have done. But what he did, he was so busy following Mike's advice. Hit that. You want to hit it. Whereas Bill and John told him, don't touch her. Don't mess with her. Come on, dude. This is your job. You should know not to mess with her, especially when you wasn't that interested. And the nurse's name was Regina. And Regina been following around him because she feeling terrible now that he took advantage of her body. He had sex with her. She thought he really liked her and wanted to be in a relationship. And he just wanted to hit it and quit it. And she couldn't get that out of her head. And she was stalking him and everything. And she basically said, I'm reporting you to management. So he ran to Mike to get advice. And Mike said, beat her to management and tell her. He said, yeah, well, I'm going to go on Monday. So she went on Friday. And she beat him to it. And he basically got suspended from work, for a couple of days until the girl went back and admitted that she lied. But she had caught up with him and saw him out with drinks with his boys and stuff. And she was saying all this stuff, what she was going to do and what she did. And at that point, Mike was recording her. So Mike was recording her And so he played it back to let her know, if you go and try to say something to mess with him, we're going to report you and play this tape. So that's when she went back and told the truth and, and got him his job back. He didn't have to fight it. But then there was something else I was going to say about that. While they were in that bar, remember I said the dean's daughter that Mike was messing with? Well, they all sitting there, and here come these two white girls in there, and the dean's daughter was white. And Mike being him, Mike, trying to talk, oh, you wonderful ladies, you beautiful ladies, this and that. And he's just like, smoozing and schmoozing him and being his, I forgot the word I'm trying to say, but with his wonderful little womanizing personality, I don't know how to call it, but he's talking to the girl and don't realize who she is. Don't even realize who she is. And the other three are sitting there like, whatever. Yeah, this my boy, this. He introducing all of them, and they all like, and they was like, Mike, that's her. Who? That's her. The dean's daughter. She said, y'all act like y'all seen a ghost. Forget that she was white and pale as ever. Literally a ghost. But he was like, what? She's like, you're not going to buy me a drink? No, we ain't buying you a drink so you could tell your father we took advantage of you. She was like, look, my daddy was mad and he was upset and I had to tell him something, and she said, y'all need to get over it. We were kids then. That was years ago. And he was like, Bill was like, you owe my boy an apology. You got him kicked out of school and stuff. Oh, please. Apologize for what? She didn't have no remorse for what she did. She had no remorse, so that was something else. And then it's, what else? I was going to say, when the boys, after they went to see Cousin Leon, they went to the sandwich shop looking for his moms. And they told the moms what had happened and why he got kicked out of school, because she was so disappointed in him for getting kicked out of school and always kept saying, why can't you be like your friends, Tom and Bill and Mike? Why can't you be like them? You just, she always compared it to them. But he's the one that took the rap, and he's told them, none of y'all would have did it for me. None of y'all would have did it for me. He said, we supposed to be friends, boys. That's what we do for each other, right? And I felt so bad for him, because things like that, situations like that could really detail your life and your career and everything. So what else happens? The girl, I forgot, the stalker, I told you about her. That's Regina. Regina's the stalker. Pam is the one, she's Mike's side chick. And she basically was like, what's up? What's up? Because all of a sudden he wants to be her one and only, because she's with these guys. Like I said, they see you with somebody else. You see somebody else who wants you, and now they want you. And it doesn't make any sense. It's sickening. That's what makes me get to Bill. Bill is an architect, and he hasn't, I don't know, I haven't seen him any of the season working. I don't recall seeing him working or doing anything, as far as his career. I've seen Mike doing stuff. We see John at the sandwich shop, and we see, Tom being a doctor. But I've never seen him doing an architect thing, but maybe I missed it and just don't remember, or something like that. So he did 24 episodes. I can't say I saw him doing anything, but he's the friend who seems more of a follower than a leader. He follows the crowd kind of and stuff, and he's always trying to clown on his buddies, all of the bros. He always trying to clown on them and tell jokes, and he don't know how to let stuff go. He trying to keep it going, and they like, look, kill it already. But that's who he is. And in one of the episodes, you see him, he's ducking. He's hiding because he sees his ex-girlfriend. Her name is, what is her name? Regina. She's Regina. I'm sorry. The nurse is Valerie. I got to take that all back, y'all. Everything I said about the nurse, she is Valerie. And Regina is the Bill's ex. And Bill, I wrote it wrong in my notes. Bill's ex, he ducking from her. He's in the sandwich shop. And then this guy comes in and he knows him from college. The guy's like, yo, what's up? Da, 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 da. We might need you for our job. We got this. We opening up this place and all this stuff. And he said, nah, my plate is kind of full now. We good, but thanks. And he said, what you doing? He said, nah, I just saw my ex and I was trying to keep away from her. Da, 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 da. He's saying all this negative stuff about her. Then she comes in the sandwich shop and she's like, oh, hi, Bill. And she's talking to him. And the dude, I forgot his name, he said, "Is this your ex?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, thanks for getting rid of her because she's my fiance." And they were getting married. All of a sudden, she looks good to him because she was getting married. He's the one who dropped her, left her, wasn't ready. And now 2 years later, she found somebody else and ready to marry. And he just can't handle it. He wants to have closure. He wants a kiss. He trying to have sex with her. All this stuff is going on. He happened to walk in on her bridal shower, because they had it in a sandwich shop with a stripper and everything. So it was a bachelorette party. He didn't know she was going to be there, but he was there. They ended up having sex in the bathroom. Of course, Miss Alice saw it and was telling him to turn around because he had no clothes on. She wanted to see a ding dong. I was dying. She was like, ooh, Miss Alice a mess. She is a mess. She called the girl a hoe. She called everybody a hoe. She was not playing. So this went on for a couple of episodes. He said how he was going to break up her wedding. He going to ride in on a white horse. He got a tux from Tom. All this stuff. He ended up falling off the white horse. Never made it there. He ended up in the hospital. But then he said because of black weddings. Who said that black weddings start late? Of course, he was able to make the wedding. He came in there, started a fight and everything. And after all was good and the arguments and the guests were fighting and everything, after all of that, she said, "We're going to do this again and we're going to get married." And she's like, told them to get out. Mike and y'all get your boy and get out and stuff. They tried to have that wedding and she ended up couldn't say, "I do." She couldn't say it. And she ended up breaking up with the guy that she wanted to marry. And she ended up going to, she was going to move away and go to LA. And he went and bought him a ticket. First of all, he was drowning in his sorrows. And John had no right to go and get him and tell him, "I feel." He talking about we friends. But why are you going to tell him what's going on with this girl, all the business and stuff? If she wanted him to know, she would have called him and told him. He's sitting there drinking and all sad and stuff. And now all of a sudden he perking up and stuff. And he goes down to the sandwich shop and try to marry me and all this stuff. You didn't want to marry her. Come on, dude. In the meantime, Mike wanted to be monogamous, is it? With Pam, his side chick. And he really wanted it, broke up all her dates, like I said. And she finally went for it and said, "Okay, we're going to try." But she didn't believe him. She didn't believe he wanted to do it. This fool, after all that, wanted to do it. The next day, Andy visits from Sisters. And she's in his house. They're working on a project or something. I don't know why they were not in the office. I'm still trying to figure that out. But he did some sketchy stuff. Like he wanted his side chick, Pam, to come, and he wanted her to come and do, cook for him and all this stuff. And she was like, okay, fine. She was going to go home, but he really wanted her to come. And then half an hour later, when he found out he had to work later with the girl, he already was telling Andy how beautiful she is. And she told him that was inappropriate to be saying to her and stuff. But he wanted to see what she was like in bed. Basically, that's what he wanted to do. And all of a sudden, he calls Pam and say, "No, don't come. I don't need you to come," and all this stuff. And she's like, "This motherfucker full of some stuff." She already knew he was up to his stuff. So she went to talk to Miss Alice. Said, "Regina said I should talk to you because you're a wealth of information." I said, "Oh Lord, not Miss Alice." Miss Alice was saying all kind of craziness. She was cuckoo crazy. I was sitting there cracking up all the advice she was giving. And she said, "You sure that it works?" She said, "Hell if I know, I'm drunk." Anyway, Miss Alice so funny. But she ended up going over to the house. Pam went over to the house and she's got to see Andy and they start talking. All of a sudden they ganged up. They teamed up against Mike. And they both told him to shut up at the same time because they were talking. And Andy left, said it was a pleasure meeting. They hugging and everything like they girlfriends now. "You got to come sometime and hang out with me and my girls and all this stuff." She's talking to him and what happens? What happens? He's not talking. She's like, "You got to tell me." She's screaming and she's crying and she's pissed. And basically she said, "You can't be monogamous. You that's not you." And she told him she was leaving him and he was mad. He got mad and she left out and he started kicking stuff and throwing stuff and said, shit. He was mad at himself, but she told him, you listening to that dick of yours. You need to stop. So that's basically that season. There was one more thing in that season. I'm sorry, I missed one thing. We learned that Tom's mother, um, what's the crazy Valerie, the nurse, went in there to see Tom and told her there was a patient out there that she feels is being abused by her husband. And he said, well, you need to call the police. She said, I can't. Why not? Because her husband is the police. So it's one of those things where a police is beating on his wife. So it's hard to call the police on the police. So there's another doctor that usually takes her case and gives her pills and brushes it under the rug and act like he don't know about it. But it seems like the pills she keep getting are not for her, they're for her husband. Because when Tom ran her blood work, you don't even see any traces of the pills in her blood. So he trying to save her. And you know, when those abused women, the reason I'm talking about it, because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month right now, October. And you know, abused women, some of them tend to think they need that man. There's nowhere for them to go. They have no choice. They got kids, you know, and they stay in these situations and get abused. And when she told Tom, we learned Tom's mom was abused. You know, no, was abused by his stepfather. And he said he remembered being 10 and he didn't do anything. He almost killed her, you know. So now he got this thing where he's always fighting for them, you know. And what happens is he stepped to the police officer. The police officer didn't like that, you know. And then Valerie's telling him he need to stop. He need to lay back, because now that he did that, he got to worry about his job. Don't say nothing to your boss, because the person who usually sweeps it under is his boss. So you can't be saying anything to your boss, because you could lose your job. And Valerie kept telling him, he got mad at Valerie. Why don't you mind your business? Why don't you leave me alone? She's like, why do you feel, what is this woman to you that you keep doing this? And she was trying to help him. And he blasted her. I mean, in the hallway of the hospital, he's yelling at her and stuff. And she's like, oh my God, you know, and he's calling her names. And she just walks away. But I'm like, see, Tom owes her an apology. And I don't like that they don't show him being apologetic for his behavior. But his manager stepped to him like, you got something you want to say to me and stuff. Meanwhile, the abused woman is like, what you did to my husband is going to cause problems for me. Basically, he going to beat my ass when I get home, because he's thinking I said something to you. Because you said I said it and I didn't say it. Why'd you do that? You know, and he said, I'm trying to help you. No, you're not helping me. You're hurting me. You just basically killed me, she said. So all of this is going on. And I'm like, oh my God. Then there's this other coworker. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. There's this other coworker. I forgot her name, but she works in a sandwich shop. Heavyset girl. She's young. She's like in her early 20s or something. And she's trying to act like Miss Alice, basically just nasty and following and working in, you know, talking about sex and all this stuff. And oh, he fine and he cute. Now I don't know. And she don't want to do work. She lazy. She's stealing stuff from the store to bring home for food. You know, Miss Alice like, don't leave her near the cash register. I think she a relative or something. I feel like she a relative, but they always got to yell at her. She don't really do any work. And she's just one more person in the mix. And then John and his mother, they always fight. He always trying to stop his mom from saying or doing inappropriate things. And it'd be so funny. You got to laugh with them when they go back and forth. The mother and son going back and forth. It's hilarious. But basically, that season ended with, I think, what's his name? Bill on his knees asking her to marry him or something. And she's like, she get on the plane and she says she's leaving. You know, she's not, and she walks out on him and stuff. And some other lady tried to talk to him, hit on him. And he's like, oh, please, you know. But anyway, I think that's how it ended. But it was a pretty good season. I like the show. Like I said, it's only 30 minutes. It's pretty cool. Y'all let me know if anybody who's been watching Bruh or ever seen it. You know, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, how you feel about it, what you think about it. But I know the new season starts I think on the 21st of October. So I'm going to just keep going with this since I end up getting BET Plus. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do First Wives Club. I'm also going to do, what else is on there? Oh, and I'm still doing, what is the one with All the Queen's Men? That's on BET Plus. So I'll keep doing All the Queen's Men, Bruh, First Wives Club. And I think the Family Business is on there as well, I think. And then y'all know Queens is coming on tonight. That new show Queens on ABC. So I'm going to try to do the review with that, with Brandy and Eve and all of these people, you know, the singers getting back together. I'll check that out. But my Tuesdays night's going to be full. So I hope you enjoyed this recap, and I'll recap season 2 in a couple of days. This your girl, Barbie J. Saying peace.